Hello, my name is Eric Meeks. I'm the broker owner of Remax Desert Properties in Palm Springs and Indian Wells, along with my wife Tracy. And today I'm going to read you the Desert Housing Report and put my own spin on it. Oh, and by the way, many of you now know me as the realtor guy. And I've been selling real estate out here in Palm Springs for a long time. And these days I run a team of about 30 agents, always looking for a few more, and help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. We might even be in the thousands at this point. We've really had a spectacular year. And especially under COVID, it has been surprisingly good. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that we're seeing in the market out here right now. Try to keep this down to 30 minutes or less. This is usually one of my longer videos that I do. But bear with me, and let's go through what's called the Desert Housing Report, which is prepared by the California Desert Association of Realtors and the Palm Springs Regional Association of Realtors. That's the two MLS boards that kind of govern us realtors out here in the Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta area. So with that said, we're going to begin right in. You see it here on the screen, and this is the Coachella Valley median detached home price from January 2002 to January 2021. And as you can see, this big dip here in this kind of middle area, that is the low point of the economy that happened after the market fell apart in about 2007, where you have the peak here, and then we go down to 2009. We're getting off to a little bit of a rocky start, but by about 2012, it's definitely going up. Okay, and it has continued up over the last nearly a decade, or roughly a decade. And now in the last year, okay, as we look at from January 2020 to January 2021, it has been a real increase, surprisingly so. We've been under COVID the whole time, multiple times that we've been under a governor-ordered lockdown. Luckily, real estate agents have been declared essential workers. And so most of us in the business have been able to survive during this time, and many of us have even thrived. But that's all part of the K-shaped discovery, where you see that, see if I can do this right on camera, where some people go up and some go down with it. The good agents, the ones who had already had marketing in place and had a good amount of clients in their sphere and repeat customers and referrals, they did great. The other ones struggled a bit. So, I realized something here I wanted to do. I wanted to adjust my display settings so that we are mirroring onto the big screen. Okay. And now then this, push it off to the side. Boom. Okay. So those of you like looking at my little screen here on the bottom left where I've got the camera here, you can see a little bit of what my office looks like and what I do in a day. So anyways, we've gone up quite a bit over the last year, with the median price going from kind of a monthly average of $431. Okay, that's a good solid number. We'll reveal exactly what the monthly average is, but the reason that's highlighted here on this graph is that's a good statistical average for the month of January, or actually that's the starting point of January. The end point was 5.25. Okay, and this is valley-wide. Okay, we'll break it down by cities as we go through this. We'll take a look at inventory, and we'll dissect this several different ways. You'll see it. Let's move on from this summary here. Probably good 4.25% growth, okay, overall. I think we're going to find that number can reflect much stronger statistics as we go through this. Okay, this is the median attached price. So here we're talking condos, multifamily units, up to 4 units that are attached together, those sorts of things, attached homes where you might have a duplex. Okay, and you can see that in January 2020, a year ago, we had a high of probably about 270. Okay, I guess they're rating it here at 280, now to a high of 335. Again, attached homes, condos, duplexes, things like that. As we look at this here, and we break it down by city, okay, some of the real surprising statistics. Let's see if I can increase it just a little bit. There we go. Okay, Palm Springs went from $657,000 a year ago to $840,000 on an average price of a single family home. These are the detached homes in the city of Palm Springs. And I know the mid-century moderns reflect a lot of this, but it's not all of it. Okay, there's development in Palm Springs throughout the decades. We have stuff older than the 1950s and 60s. We have stuff newer than the 1970s, with an overall average going up almost $200,000. That's a 27.8% increase over it. And if you had bought at the low of 2011, wouldn't you love to pick a home for $335,000 and 10 years later sell it for $840,000, and during that time have made money on rental income besides just your increase? Millionaires are made in this kind of real estate market that we've seen here. Even over the high of 2006, which was 600,000, we're now at 840 in Palm Springs. And that's not true everywhere. In La Quinta, it was a high of 682,000 in 2006. We are now at a high of 675. So you'd be just about breaking even if you'd bought there. If you bought in Palm Springs, you've made a 40% increase in your value from the high to now. 150% increase if you had bought at the low. So anybody who bought in Palm Springs in the last decade should have made money. Now, other cities, let's take a look at some of the other ones. Palm Desert, okay, a year ago they were 449, now they're at 519. So an increase, 15.7%, which is nothing to sneeze at. In most places, you would be singing hallelujah on that kind of an increase on it. Made $70,000 in a year on that property. That's better than a bank pays you by a long shot, better than most people made on their stocks. In Palm Desert, you could have made $70,000 on a $449,000 sales price. If you had bought in the low of 2011, you would have an 81% increase. You would have had nearly doubled your money, okay, on that investment at that time. If you had bought at the high in 2006, okay, you've lost 4.3%. Still, where's the market going? And right now, it looks like it's still going up. Okay, so city by city. And if somebody wants an actual copy of this report, please reach out to me via email. I'm sure my information is down below, or you can Google me, find it. I'm easy to get a hold of. I own Remax Desert Properties, so if you want to Google that and get the phone number, you can do it. I don't pitch all that information while I'm here in this sort of presentation, but I want you to know I'm happy to help you if you need some help. Attached homes, not as much, but still substantial. So in Palm Springs, they've gone up 18.5% over the last year. So the condos in Palm Springs have still had an increase. You're at an average price of a little over $300,000. A year ago, they were a little over $250,000. Who wouldn't want to make $50,000 in a year? Yeah. Okay. If you had bought in the low of 2011, you would have bought for $150,000. There, you would have doubled your money, 101%. Okay. If you had bought at the high, not so much. But most people didn't buy at the high. Some did, I know, and I'm sorry for those of you who did out there. But most people have had a long time to get away from that and made substantial gains on their homes in the last decade. Palm Desert, okay, from $300,000 to $345,000. So there's another, $50,000 almost in a year, a 15% increase over that year, almost double from 2011 low. If we look at La Quinta, they've made about $60,000. They even beat Palm Springs, 23.2%. And Indian Wells went from $387,000 to $400,000, a 24.7% increase in Indian Wells, a 23% increase in La Quinta. There's Palm Springs at 18.5. Rancho Mirage even, okay, a 14% increase, almost $50,000. Likely it is $50,000, $349,000 to $399,000. Indio, not as much, but it has gone up from 5.5%. But anyways, you can see the gist of what I'm trying to talk about here. If we look at detached and attached total sales, we're doing almost 1,000 sales a month. System-wide, all realtors combined, all properties combined. Okay, going down to the next one. This one here is a rolling 12-month average, so it's a lot more stable to see. But you can see that, let me shrink this here just a little bit. There we go. So I can get that final edge. 927 properties selling per month. Per month. Okay, almost 1,000 properties per month selling out here in the desert. If you break it down by city, okay, Palm Desert is winning the total quantity of sales a month. They were number 2 in price point, number 1 in total quantity of sales. 224 properties selling per month in Palm Desert versus a year ago, 140 homes selling per month. So in the last year, it's gone up like a third, okay, to reach the 224. That's a substantial thing. Palm Springs was selling more a year ago, selling not as much this year, but still extremely strong numbers. Nothing to be upset about or really try to split hairs with. Okay, it's that as the price points in Palm Springs have increased beyond the average price home of what most people can afford, they continue to go up price-wise, but there's fewer sales because there's more people that can afford an average price home than can afford a luxury price home. Palm Springs has moved into the luxury market. Even if it's just a regular old-fashioned home like what I grew up in as a kid here in Palm Springs, that's now considered luxury. Right behind both of those is La Quinta, okay, that's had a substantial increase from 111 to 183. Again, more middle-priced homes, although you do have some luxury homes in La Quinta as you go back into North La Quinta, some of the larger developments, the golf course developments, PGA West, those there, and they're hitting the higher price homes, which we'll cover again here in just a little bit. And all the neighborhoods have seen some sort of increase. Desert, Hot Springs, roughly the same, but look at Indian Wells, from 21 sales to 50. In Cathedral City, from 58 sales to 74. That's single month gains year over year, gains year over year. Okay, let's keep moving on. Home sales by price range. This is an interesting one. The average price of a home is now in the 300 to 400,000 price range. A year ago, it would have been more around 300-ish, and these two columns were about even if you look at it, 159 and 176. So you would have pushed it to the low 300s, whereas now it's probably in the mid to high 300,000 as we get close to the 4. 229 homes selling per month, okay, 157 homes here, 175. So there's the bulk. These three, 200 to 500,000 is where the bulk of homes are selling these days. As you go after that, though, take a look. It's still strong between 500 and 700,000. It drops off, but 43, 44 homes selling at 700 to 900,000. I'll tell you, a lot of happy agents out there to be selling in that price point. And I bet that these homes that sold in the 7 to 900,000 a year ago were in the 5 to 700,000. So we've seen gains in the home. Those homeowners are happy with the value of their home. Remember what we saw in prices going up. A year ago, they were less. Now they are substantially more. Palm Springs saw a over $240,000 gain on the average price point of a home. So those were people that went from 500,000 to over 7, people who went from 600,000 to over 8. Huge gains. And at the over million price point, I'll tell you, the luxury market is going huge right now, from 52 to 128 total sales year over year. People with money are buying out here in the desert. I had one client tell me Palm Springs is becoming the new Beverly Hills. Okay, it really is. And the entire desert, our lowest grade neighborhoods, and I have to be careful here when I talk to them, but our lowest quality neighborhoods, our lowest price points, okay, and where the demographics of the people earn less on average than the rest of the desert, those types of neighborhoods are better than many of the other neighborhoods in California. Our worst is better than many places' best. Okay, the desert is a nice place to live, and we welcome all types, all comers here. We have what can I say? There's no discrimination. We would like all people to live out here if this is where they don't want to live. It's a beautiful place. Why shouldn't they? Valley housing inventory, as you're seeing here. This one is some very interesting facts. See if I can go up just a little bit here on the sides to help make this easier to read. Okay. So 1,283 homes as of February 2021. Okay. 6 months ago, we were at almost 2,000. A year ago, we were at 3,200. Our inventory has dropped by a third valley-wide in a year. Under COVID, our inventory dropped it dropped by two-thirds. We have one-third of the inventory left. That's a better way to put it. And a year before that, we had more. And a year before that, we had more. And a year before that, we had more. Inventory has been steadily dropping out here. It is at critical levels. If you have something to sell, I'll tell you, you will get more for it right now than ever in the past, than more than just a few months ago. It is a great time to sell. But if you got to realize, if you sell, where are you going to move? It's sometimes a little difficult on that decision. Days in the market and months of sales. So you can see that we have a little over 1 month of inventory, not shy or just shy of a month and a half of inventory right now. Days on market, 39 days. Months on market, 1.4. Things are selling quick. Okay, months of sales by price range. So if you have a home that can sell between $200,000 and $300,000, this is the very low end of the market, not the lowest, okay, but the very low end. Okay, it's going to last on the market less than a month. 0.9 is the average. If you can go under 200,000, 1.2, and even if you do 300,000 to 400,000, it's 1.0. Less than a month's inventory for anything up to $400,000 in a sales price. Now, the next tier would be between 400,000 and 700,000. That's a big gap. There's a lot of inventory in that. 1.2 months on the market. So if you have a home between $400 and $700,000, actually it's between $800,000, that's a huge gap. And that's the bulk of 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family homes in the desert are in that category right there. That home is going to barely last on the market a month, if that, because wait till I get to negotiating points and how close to asking price we're getting. It's huge. And even at above that, you have to go beyond $1 million where it's hitting 3.4 months on the market. At up to $1 million, between 700 and 800,000. I think I made a mistake earlier. I said up to 800 for the 1.2 months. That's up to 7. Between 7 and 1 million, it's 1.7 and 1.8 months on the market. Less than 2 months. That is phenomenal. And at over $1 million, 3.4 months, but I'll tell you, it's selling. And it all will relate to pricing. If you're trying to take every drop out of the grape, okay, trying to squeeze every bit of juice out of the deal, you're going to sit on it a little longer. You're probably overpriced, hoping the market will catch you. And I'll tell you, it probably will. But it depends on how fast you want to sell and where you have to be for it. Let's see what our next one looks like here. Months of sales by city. Palm Springs, 1.1 months of sales. Palm Desert, 1.6 months. This is looking at available inventory, how long per city, what it might take, as opposed to a valley-wide average. It's a good chart, but you got to be very specific on that. Sales price discount from list. This is the one I was trying to refer to a minute ago. I used to say to my buyers and sellers, and I could say this with a very straight face, look, back as little as 4 years ago, even 3, 4, well, as little as 1 year ago, in July, or maybe that was June of 2020, we began to see the first uptick. By August of 2020, it was shooting through the roof. Before that, we were running 1.9%, maybe 2% for a long time right through this area here. And that can go back till July of 2019. And we had even better. For like a good 4 or 5 running year there, I would tell people most homes sell between 2 and 5% if you're asking price. That's not true anymore. Okay, it was a good standard for a long time. Now, most homes are selling about 1% of their asking price. And what we're seeing happen here in the desert more and more often is that we are ending up in competitive bid situations where sellers are replying with multiple counteroffer requests, asking people for their highest and best, and sellers are dictating terms like length of escrow, length of inspections, those sorts of things on it. It's become very much a seller's market, as we've seen inventory shrink, okay, and get lower and lower. Days on market shrink and lower because we've got so many offers for the properties out here that the seller can be a little tougher. It's because it's such a desirable place to live. Under COVID, the people want to get out of the big cities. They want a little more space. They want to be able to enjoy the outside. A property with a pool is golden, okay, out here. It's amazing, okay, what's going on out here in the desert market. And that's it. I think I got through this video a little bit shorter than I normally do, but I'll tell you, if you've got a property and you want to sell, please reach out to me. I have lots of good agents. If I can't help you myself, and more often, I'm relying on my agents. I am grateful that I hired such a great group of people. They are doing phenomenal. And I'll tell you one thing, for the buyers out there, I had a buyer recently that was willing to spend up into almost $900,000. And he and she kept getting beat out of bids 4 times. Where's my hand? 4 times. We got beat out on bids. One property even sold for $125,000 over asking price. It went from $800 to $925. We went up to $850 on it, thinking that would be enough. No. So I'm still the agent, right? And I've got a client who obviously wants to buy out here, but they don't want to keep going up and up. And I understand that logic too. This is where having the right agent work for you can be huge. Okay. I told him, I said, look, that night when it happened, my head was a little out of the game too. I said, can I have till tomorrow morning? Okay, and then let me reassess and see what I do. Some part had been him finding property on Zillow and Truly and throwing them at me. How about this one? How about that one? How about this one? And we went through the first 4, and they were all phenomenal houses. But he wasn't the only one seeing those, okay, because of how it is with multiple people shopping through the same websites, the same inventory, seeing the same ones. I said, would it be okay if I took the time to go through the inventory out here, and sometime tomorrow, I will give you a list of my best picks, and then you use those and see what you want to do? Could I do that? We end up finding a house for about $680,000, which I know is a little higher than the average price point out here, but given that him and his wife were willing to go up to the $900,000 range, was a big savings to them. And I was able to find them on a great street, a phenomenal house that was that one that slipped through the cracks. And when they saw that house, and I go shoot a video of the homes when I do this sort of thing, you'll find on mine, it's on Daylily. They're a great couple. They fell in love with it. And they were able to save a couple of $100,000. And that sort of work from an agent who's really worth his salt is the sort of thing we here at RE/MAX Desert Properties bring to the table. So in this kind of crazy market, more and more, the agent can save you money and get you more house for your dollar. And it's worth it to find yourself a good one. If you don't know where to go to find that, call me. My number is in the information below. Please like or subscribe to these videos. I'm making more and more of them these days. And thank you. Thank you for your time. I hope that you found this interesting as I went through the January Desert Housing Report. My name is Eric Meeks, also known as the Realtor Guy, broker owner of RE/MAX Desert Properties in Palm Springs and Indian Wells, and gladly willing to serve you or your friends or referrals if you need help in real estate. Have a good day. Thank you again. I'm Eric Meeks, signing off. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you found it both fun and informative. Please like and subscribe and make comments below. And remember, if there's anything I can ever do for you, all you have to do is give me a call. I'm Eric Meeks. Thank you again. Have a good day.